The slap rang out like a gunshot in the hush of first class. A white airline captain striking a young black woman in front of stunned passengers. Phones came up, whispers turned to gasps, and the captain stood over her, drunk on his authority. But she wasn't just any passenger. She was Danica Rowe, the billionaire owner of his airline. And before wheels touch the runway, she'll make sure his wings are clipped forever. Aura Airlines Flight 723 from New York to London was the kind of first-class cabin that sold silence as a luxury. The low hum of engines, champagne resting in crystal, and wide leather seats that seemed to declare, "You've made it." For most passengers, that was true. For Danica Rowe, seated quietly in 3A, it was a test. She wasn't here for the champagne or the legroom. She was here incognito, dressed in simple cashmere and sneakers, without a hint that she was the billionaire majority owner of the airline. She wanted to see what happened when no one knew her name. It didn't take long. A heavy-set white businessman in 3B staggered down the aisle, whiskey on his breath, dragging a roller bag that looked too large for the overhead bins. He eyed the empty space above Danica's seat, space she'd claimed for her own carry-on. The flight attendant, Linda Carver, appeared, flashing the kind of smile that was warm for some passengers and cold for others. She gestured at Danica. "Ma'am, we'll need to move your bag so this gentleman can store his." Danica looked up, calm. "There's room for both. My bag stays." Linda's smile thinned. Without another word, she reached up and yanked Danica's carry-on from the bin. "Put it back," Danica said evenly, her voice like steel. The businessman snorted. "Oh, for God's sake, just move it. People like you don't belong here anyway." The insult hung in the air, ugly and heavy. A couple of passengers looked away. Others pretended not to hear. Linda folded her arms. "If you're going to make this difficult, I'll have to get the captain." Within minutes, he arrived. Captain Jack Stratton was tall, broad-shouldered, with a face weathered by years in the cockpit, and a presence that demanded control. He strode up the aisle, stopping beside Danica's seat. "On my aircraft," he said, his voice deep and sharp. "You follow crew instructions without debate. Move the bag, or you'll be removed from this plane." Danica didn't move. "Your crew member touched my property without consent. There's no safety issue here, only bias." Murmurs rippled through the cabin. Stratton's eyes hardened. Final warning. Danica's gaze locked on his. "Then you'd better be prepared for the consequences." The captain's jaw flexed, a flush of anger creeping up his neck. And then, crack! His open palm smashed across Danica's face. The sound cut through the cabin like a gunshot. Her head snapped sideways, a bright red mark blooming across her cheek. Gasps erupted. Someone whispered, "Did he just—" Phones shot up, recording. Linda froze, hands trembling. The businessman in 3B smirked. Slowly, Danica turned her head back toward the captain. Her cheek burned, but her expression was ice. She reached into her pocket, pulled out her phone, and typed a single message. "Edward, code red on Aura 723. Asset compromised by crew. Proceed as planned." Stratton didn't notice the shift in the air, the way some passengers were now staring at him like prey that didn't know it was cornered. The next 7 hours were his last in uniform. By the time Flight 723 touched down at Heathrow, uniformed security was waiting at the gate. Stratton's confident stride faltered when he saw the CEO of Aura Airlines, Edward Kane, flanked by legal counsel and 2 board members. "Captain Stratton," Edward said, his voice cutting like glass, "step aside." Stratton bristled. "What's this about?" From seat 3A, Danica stood, walking forward with the poise of someone who had just watched a man dig his own grave. She stopped beside Edward, her voice carrying just enough for the nearby rows to hear. This is about an assault on a passenger in your first-class cabin. On your watch. On my aircraft." Edward glanced at her, almost smiling. "Captain Stratton, meet Ms. Danica Rowe, majority owner of Aura Airlines." The blood drained from the captain's face. "Owner?" "Yes," Danica said, her tone calm and razor-sharp. "And as of this moment, you are relieved of duty, permanently." Gasps came from behind. A woman in row 5 muttered, "Wow." The businessman in 3B suddenly found something fascinating on the floor. Security stepped forward. Stratton took a half-step back. "You can't." Danica cut him off. "You struck a passenger in anger. You disgraced this airline and every professional in it. And you did it in front of witnesses and cameras. You've grounded yourself." She turned to Linda. "You'll be hearing from HR, if you're lucky." Linda's lips trembled. She didn't speak. The captain tried again, quieter this time. "You don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Danica said. "You thought I was powerless. You thought my skin color, my gender, and my quiet meant you could treat me like less than human. Now you're going to learn the price of that assumption." Security took him by the arms, escorting him down the jet bridge. Cameras followed. His career was over before the terminal doors even opened. As the cabin emptied, a man in business casual paused by Danica's seat. "You handled that with more control than I could have." She offered a faint smile. Sometimes the loudest statement is made without raising your voice. When she finally stepped off the plane, the air outside felt different, cleaner, lighter. Behind her, Flight 723 would be remembered not for the slap that humiliated a passenger, but for the moment an abuser of power got grounded for life. If this story had you hooked, hit like, smash subscribe, and share it right now so more people see justice served. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Let's show how far the truth can travel.